The latest trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder has sent social media into overdrive. The film is the fourth installment in the MCU's Thor series, while fans on social media are thrilled because there's so much to discuss. Who are these new gods shown in the trailer? Find out this and much more, as today we'll be going over all the latest updates about this upcoming blockbuster, so make sure to stick around to the end. First up, there's a lot more gods. With Christian Bale's Thor the God Butcher embarking on his conquest to kill all the gods in the universe, he'll be needing a few gods to slay in the first place. The latest trailer gave us a look at some of the gods that are set to appear in the movie, most notably Russell Crowe's Zeus, a fellow god of thunder, as well as several other iconic Marvel characters. During the scene where Jane Foster harnesses the power of lightning, several major Marvel comic entities, most of whom have yet to make their MCU debut, were spotted by eagle-eyed fans over on Reddit. Pausing the trailer right near the end shows some of these celestials cast as statues surrounding Jane, such as Lady Death, Uatu the Watcher, the Living Tribunal, Eon, and Eternity. How these characters fit into the story of Love and Thunder is anyone's guess at the moment, but based on the film's synopsis, it looks like they could be in trouble. Whether these are simply little nods to comic book fans or a hint to Gore's god-killing antics is currently unknown, but one thing we know for sure is that fans are pumped to finally see these behemoths in action. Whether or not we will get to see these old gods take on the God Butcher still remains to be seen, but it looks like Thor and Jane are going to have their hands full. Next, we have a new home. Remember during the first teaser trailer when we saw Thor meditating under a giant tree? The scene led to a lot of online discourse about where our favorite Norse god had set up base after the events of Avengers Endgame. Well, look no further, as the film's official trailer has finally confirmed where he has set up camp, Indigar. It's a name that will be instantly recognizable to fans of the Marvel Comics series, as it is a desert world that debuted in Thor: God of Thunder #1 in November 2012. It was also the first issue in writer Jason Aaron's iconic comic series that introduced the villain of the film, Thor the God Butcher. Why is this significant? Apart from the direct link to Gore's comic debut, the film shows heavy inspiration from Aaron's Thor comic run. With the series being a chief influence during the film's development, it's unsurprising that Indigar is featured in some capacity. And now, suffering from visions. The trailer features a scene where Thor fights some unknown enemies before he sees a reforged Mjolnir appear in front of him. Thor reaches out to grab his old trusty hammer, but it flies away towards the hands of Jane Foster, aka Lady Thor. However, as Korg finishes up his storytelling session later on in the trailer, we see the God of Thunder in a brand new costume, paired with an equally elaborate helmet, as he surprisingly says, "Jane?" upon reuniting with his ex. These two scenes are interesting for one major reason. Thor is wearing his old costume when Mjolnir approaches him during the first scene, but later on, he's wearing his new suit when he actually encounters Jane. Could the first scene be a vision of the future that Thor witnesses? This theory is pretty credible, considering it wouldn't be the first time Thor had a vision of the future. During Avengers Age of Ultron, Thor uses the mystical powers of the Water of Sight to revisit the nightmare that Scarlet Witch had put inside his head. Maybe his days of meditation have finally paid off, and now he can see visions of the future without using the Water of Sight. Only one way to find out, and we've already got our tickets booked. Next up, a somber reunion. The latest trailer also featured a much-awaited reunion between Jane and Thor. While we're not sure when the pair broke up, it seems that the trailer may hold the answer. When Jane asks Thor how long it had been since they last met, he humorously replies, 8 years, 7 months, and 6 days. At first glance, it simply sounds like a funny throwaway line, but it gives us an idea of when the pair's relationship actually ended. Thor: The Dark World, which was the last Marvel film that Jane appeared in, came out in 2013. This means that it's been almost 9 years since Thor's second solo movie was released. However, in the MCU, there has been a notable 5-year time jump between the events of Infinity War and Endgame, after Thanos wiped out half of all life in the MCU, aka the Blip. This means that by the time Endgame began, it was already the year 2023. In Thor Ragnarok, Thor mentions that it was a mutual dumping when he and Jane split up. This implies that the pair broke up somewhere during 2015, unless Marvel's common continuation errors show up again to mess up the timeline once more. Whatever the case may be, fans are sure glad to see this power couple back in action together, and are looking forward to possibly seeing the flame between the two rekindle. And now, a brand new Mjolnir, with Thor's old trusty hammer seemingly being reforged by mighty Thor after being shattered to bits by his genocidal sister Hela. Many expected that Thor's former weapon would stay in one piece and not be able to split split into multiple parts. The official trailer throws that thought right out the window as we see the new and upgraded Mjolnir shatter on command into a shotgun spread-style weapon, capable of hitting multiple enemies at the same time after Jane swings it towards some of Zeus's metallic bodyguards. It's a move that has raised hype for every MCU fan and has us wondering what other neat little tricks this version of Mjolnir can do. Here's to hoping for more Hammer showcases in the final film. Next, the Parliament of Pantheons. The final scene in the trailer reveals Russell Crowe's Zeus in all his Greeky glory. It also gave Chris Hemsworth fans a lot more than they bargained for by accidentally stripping Thor naked. Is it getting hot in here? While the moment was obviously played up for laughs, the scene suggests that we'll be taking a trip down to the Parliament of Pantheons for the first time in MCU history. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this location, the Parliament of Pantheons is an intergovernmental organization made by gods for gods, who regularly meet in order to maintain the peace and status quo across the universe. Gods from all walks of life convene to discuss any issues they're having, vote on topics, and much more. We've already seen how the film will tie into other gods and religious figures we've already seen, such as the ones in Moon Knight and Black Panther. Also, the fact that Gore seeks revenge on every god in the MCU makes sense for the introduction of a place where all gods can convene and discuss the upcoming threat, even if some may not truly believe that they're in any real danger. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Zeus. There's a reason the man has God Butcher literally in his name. And finally, a brand new look at Gore. Since the villain was noticeably absent in the very first Love and Thunder trailer, fans speculated whether Marvel would show him at all ahead of the film's release. However, the recent trailer featured multiple shots of the character and has already made a position for himself among the most anticipated summer movie antagonists. With this new footage also comes in-depth investigation from fans in terms of his design and comparisons to his comic book persona. And now that fans are getting an even better look at Bale's baddie and his big screen costume, discourse is at an all-time high. Just like in the comics, it looks like Gore's weapon of choice will be his iconic all-black, the Necro Sword. This choice of weaponry is particularly interesting considering the fact that the all-black was technically the first symbiote, leading to fans speculating a connection to Spider-Man and other symbiotes such as Venom. While Gore's overall design is slightly different from that of the comics, it's still in step with the essence of the character. Plus, having Bale maintain a human-like appearance accomplishes two very important things. Firstly, there's more gravity to a human villain than that of an alien or creature. And secondly, if you hire Christian Bale to act in your movie, you want people to know it's Christian Bale. Considering the film's promotional campaign has only just begun, we are sure to see more Gore in the upcoming trailers and teasers. However, given the impact his appearance in this trailer has on the fanbase, it looks like Marvel probably doesn't even need to. That's a wrap for this video. What are you looking forward to seeing in the upcoming Thor movie? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.